Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's another story time, but this time I've had a lot of like weird stuff happening, and it just reminded me of my first job that I had was haunted. I know it sounds so weird, like a store being haunted, but it was. So I'm just gonna tell you guys about it because it like was scary. I had like repeat nightmares about it. It's too much. The place I worked was going out of business, but we went out of business. We had to close down for like a week, and then we came back under like new ownership, I think is what you would call it. And that's really where I would say everything just like launched and really kind of kicked off. One thing I did notice was the more we talked about whatever was going on, the worse it would get. And it got to the point at the end of it, like right before I quit, that we just had to have like a rule, like you're not allowed to talk about it because we need to be able to work, and we can't work with all this stuff going on. Where do I start? I'm gonna make a map of the store so that I can just like keep referencing it whenever I need to. Cue my map here. But then when we came back after that week of being closed, that's when stuff got a little weird. Since we had just reopened, we got rid of all of our clothes and we got like new clothes. So when we first opened up, there was maybe 4 tables up front, like right next to the doors, and that's it. And since everyone thought we closed, we like never had customers, which means we only ever had one manager and one associate, if even an associate. The managers were saying that like kind of weird stuff was happening. They'd be the only ones there, and they'd like set a pair of shirts down and like walk away and come back, and they're like on the floor. The first thing that really stood out that all of us were kind of like, ooh, that's weird, was we had this huge easel in the front window. And if you don't know what an easel is, Google it. And we kept it in the window. It was like old because we were really low budget, and it was like rusted wheels, like made a bunch of noise when you tried moving it. Like took forever to move because like the wheels would never go in the same direction. It was such a pain in the ass, so we never moved it. And one day it was just me and a manager. This manager comes up a lot, just saying. We're gonna call her Kelly. So Kelly and I were closing, and we had maybe like 2 customers the entire night. We know what everyone did when they came in. No one touched the easel. Then right before we closed, we were like, you know what, let's just order some pizza and like get this done and go home. And she was like super chill. She was my favorite person to work with. So we ordered pizza. The pizza guy got there. So we had a bunch of tables pushed up to the back. The whole store is empty except for the 4 fixtures in the very front right next to the door, and all of our extra tables pushed up on the back wall. So we needed to like sign the receipt and like tip him and everything. So we had him walk to the very back to like this back wall with all the tables with us, and he like sets down the pizza, and we're like chatting, and she signs the receipt and everything. He's like, have a good night. We're grubbing over here. We hear him leave because like the door's like closed. You can hear it. We turn around to sit on the table, and we look, and the huge easel is in the middle of the store. And I'm not talking like a small storefront, like a small business. Like it was a pretty big business. We had like the corner of the mall. Like we had one of the huge like foot traffic stores. So it was like very large. So for it to get from the front window to the middle of the store was weird enough because neither of us moved it. None of our customers moved it. The only other guy that was in there was the pizza guy, but he literally took like 15 seconds to get out, and we heard him the whole way. Like it's so loud and obnoxious to move that like not only would it have taken him at least a full minute to get it that far, but also we would have heard those rusty ass wheels squeaking. So that was just weird. We were definitely on edge after that. So like a month or 2 later, I mean, we had like some weird stuff happen in between then. That was just like kind of consistent through the whole way, like, but we would go over, like check the fingers for any go backs, and then close the door. Make like it closes, and they auto lock as soon as you close them. So you close the door, walk across to like the cash rack, which is the registers, turn around, and the doors open again. So we had one manager and 2 other people closing. It was Kelly again. That's embarrassing. I'm in the basement, and someone just like ran water or something, and I had a heart attack. Whew, okay, moving on. Yeah, so she was closing with 2 people. On the boys' side, there's a huge light switch. I'm talking like take a normal light switch and multiply that by at least 3. and it's like, it's fat. So at the end of the night, we trying to save money or whatever, so you turn the lights off, and when they were heading out, so she turned the light switch off while they're grabbing their bags. It went boom, because that's what it does. It's so heavy, and like it doesn't teeter in the middle. Like it's either on or off. Like the way that it's set up, like the mechanism of it, it doesn't stay in the middle. So she turned it down, heard that big like boom, like a thud. Like that's the only way to explain it, because it's so like loud. Like you know when you've turned the light switch off. Like I'm not gonna continue talking about a light switch, you know. And so she does that. They walk out and they look up, and all of them are immediately shooken up, because they look up and all of the floor lights are on. Like, and they all just immediately like got chills, because they were like, didn't we all just saw you and heard that light switch turn off? So she's like, well, let me just go check, maybe it's like a wiring issue. So she walks to the back, looks at the switch, and that bad boy is up. So now at this point, like a few things have happened, and people are like actually shaken up a little bit, but again, these weird middle things keep happening. At this point, the back room just like didn't feel right anymore. Like when it was like that winter time, like I was telling you, when we would hide snacks, people would literally go to the back room just to hang out and just like chill. Like it just was so calm back there. But after we closed and came back, like it just didn't feel right anymore. Like it just felt creepy. Like every time you turn your back, it felt like someone was behind you. And I mean, I know that could have just been in our heads, but like it was before even anything creepy happened. Like we just felt it. Like you could just feel that the vibes were off or whatever. Like it was just weird. So we had this one girl that worked for us. This girl was not scared of like a damn thing. And this girl went to the bathroom, came back out, running, like face red, like visibly shook. And she went up to my manager, and my manager was like, what's up? And she was like, I'm not going back there anymore. She was like, okay, what's your issue? Like, spit it out. And she said that she was in the bathroom and she heard someone like knock, like not even knock, like bang on the door, like she thought that like she was taking too long in the bathroom, because she always took like 10 minutes in the bathroom. And so she like rushed out to see like, hey, what's up? And no one was there. And so it was only her and the manager. And so she asked the manager like, hey, did you like rush me? And she was like, no, I've been out here. Like, this is when stuff started to get like a little bit scary. So we're gonna call this girl Candy. So this manager Candy was closing up, and basically the way that closing works is like you'll have your closers out on the floor, and then you'll have your managers in the back like doing paperwork. And so she was in the back, and then she went out to go grab her 2 closers and be like, hey, like we're leaving, like everything's done, I'm ready to go. She went out, grabbed them, they came back, they were grabbing their stuff and like clocking out, and they said they heard like a muffled noise. Like it sounded like what they thought was going on was they thought someone's phone was like playing music, and so everyone was like looking at their phones, and they're like, it's none of us. And then they realized it was coming from the far back of that room. Reference picture again. So if you look, there's the bathroom and then the extra room. That was supposed to be like a girls and boys bathroom, but like we're low budget, so we just like got rid of the second bathroom we all shared and then used that one for storage. So they all like went back there to see what the hell was going on, because like no one goes back there unless like you're using the bathroom or doing floor set, which we'll get to. And they look, and there's a TV plugged in, turned on, playing a video. Are you kidding me? And here's what the big deal is about that. She didn't hear any music or any noise when she was back there alone. In the 2-minute span that took her to get out there, grab them, and come back, and it was on. And let me tell you, like, this girl is not playing jokes or anything. Like, she didn't believe in the ghost, she didn't find it funny. Like, she literally, we would talk about it and she'd like get bored and walk away. Like, she couldn't be less interested in this. We didn't even know that we had a TV. A TV that we didn't know we had got plugged in, turned on, and was press play on a video. What? Like, come on. Oh yeah, so we did a floor set, which means you just push everything out and redesign it to pique everyone's interest and keep them interested in like walking around your store and stuff. They compressed all of it into Sunday mornings, where we would come in at like 3 a.m. and we wouldn't leave until like 11 a.m. When the store opened. So we would get there and it's like pitch black dark, like, and it never felt creepy before. Like, it was always like something we looked forward to. So it was all the managers and then me, and then usually like my friend who we'll call Sandra. So me and Sandra are doing floor set. It's probably like 4 or 5 in the morning at this point. We've been there like an hour or two. And we're grabbing like our stuff from the back to put out on our little stations that we're doing. And she looks up and she points at our motion sensor that we have. She points at it and she goes, "Hey, what is that?" And I was like, I think it's a motion sensor. And so I asked my manager, I was like, "Hey, is that like a motion sensor or something, or is it a camera?" And she was like, "No, it's a motion sensor. It's kind of useless. Like, it doesn't work. Like, we never get called for it." She said that she hadn't gotten a call for it in like a year. I was like, "Sandra, why are you asking about that thing?" She was like, "Oh, like me and my boyfriend like snuck in somewhere and like there was one of those and I just wasn't sure if it was a camera or something." And I was like, "No, you're good." I was like, "Oh, watch, like we're gonna get motion from like our ghost or something." Like, I literally made a joke about it. And you'll notice later on, like, our ghost doesn't take well to jokes. I guess someone was like listening to us or something, because that night the manager, Kelly, gets a call from the security company saying like, "Hey, just so you know, like your motion sensor alarm has been triggered at 1 a.m. What are the odds that the one time that any of us ever noticed that thing, it hasn't gone off in like over a year? I pointed out, make a joke about catching a ghost, and then we get a call from the security company that night that it was triggered." I mean, you can come up with your own analysis, but I'm just saying that that's a little weird. Oh yeah, okay. So like we had Black Friday and like all of us were working at least 2 8-hour shifts. Like some of us worked like 10-hour shifts and then like an 8-hour shift like a few hours later. So all of us were like, we basically were exhausted for Black Friday, went home with just enough time to sleep, and then had to come back and exhaust ourselves again. So we had one girl who lived really far away and she was like, "I'm not gonna drive all that time and then have to come back in like 2 hours." So what she did was she was like, "I'm just gonna sleep in the back room if that's cool." And none of us were really using the back room, and so we were like, yeah, like whatever. So she was just sleeping in the back room between her shifts. Get your sleep in, like we don't care. So she was sleeping in the back. About like 30 minutes later, she comes out, all of her stuff like packed up in hand, like kind of like panicked, and she was like, "I'm leaving." And we were like, "What are you doing? Like, I thought that you have like an hour and a half before you need to be back." "I'll just sleep in my car at this point. Like, I don't care how cold it is. Like, I would rather sleep in my car." And she said that while she was back there, no one was on their break. No one was in the back room. She kept hearing like something moving in the boys' side of the back room, just like scuffling around. Like she said it sounded like someone was like running back there. Like, I don't know if you can hear that. If you can't hear that, don't put that in. But she just heard like she said she like thought she saw something moving. And then it got even worse. So when you close, you like check the whole floor, make sure no one's behind any tables, no one's in the dressing room, anything. You always do that, and then you lock the door. And so she did that, locked the door. Like 15 minutes later, she's like folding some shirts, like doing her thing. She said that she grabbed like some shirts and she went to put them on like a bottom shelf of a table, and when she reached down, she saw like a woman through it, and she was like, who is like out here? And so she stood up and saw this woman staring at her with a kid in her arms, like with dark black hair. Both of them had dark black hair. She said the woman was just staring at her, and so she thought like, "Oh my god, like why is this woman in here? Like that's so annoying, like, and I have to deal with this lady and tell her to leave, like blah 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 blah." Turned around to like the wall behind her to put like the pants or whatever it is away, turned back around, and the lady and her kid are gone, like just gone. And she's like, I literally have chills thinking about it. Like, look at my goosies. I'm not focusing on that, that's too much work. There was no one in sight, no one outside the doors, like the doors were still locked. And that's what got me. If you go out the doors, which she didn't hear the doors open, if you go out the doors, you can't lock them because you would have to lock them from either inside or outside. If you lock them from outside, you need a key. She goes back to tell Kelly what happened, and Kelly looks at her and was about to run to her and is like freaking out. They look at each other like, what's going on? And so she had Kelly tell her what was going on, and Kelly was in the back room doing her paperwork, right? Put like something on a shelf, and then she was like on the boys' side, and she saw a little boy run around the corner to the girls' side and run to the back. Literally, I'm so scared just talking about this. And so she followed, and there was no one back there. Like, she had her describe the kid, and it was the same little boy with like jet black hair, in the back room. It was so weird. And she explained to her, like, I just saw that kid with like a lady, but there was no one in the store. They checked, no one was in the store. All of the doors were still locked. It was so weird. And then my dumbass comes in, because both me and her have like a history of like ghost stuff happening to us like our whole lives. Like, I don't know, we're just like weird. And so like we just kind of like bond over that. So she texted me, she's like, dude, I have something to tell you, but I have to tell you in person. And so she knew we worked together in like a day or two. So I came in for my shift and I was like, what happened? And so she like, we were busy that night, so she waited till we closed. So again, the doors are like closed and locked and everything. So she's telling me about this, and I said,
why are you so scared? Like, I wouldn't be so scared. Like, I'd be like, hey dude, what's up? Like, you want to help me put clothes away? Like,
talking so stupid. This one really gets me. We're closing, doors are locked, no one's in the store, and she was in the back and I was out front. I was the only closer, so I was the only one in the front. And so there's like an L-shaped table, one table, and then like there was like a few fixtures around or whatever, and I grabbed a pair of pants that needed to go onto this table, and I picked them up, and as I turn to like face the other table and put it away, I see something like tall, like I'm 5'8", and I'm talking like taller than 6'5" probably, duck behind me, and I literally froze, dropped the pants, and did not even, like, I didn't even care to look. Like, I just bolted to the back room because I was like, oh, hell no. Not today, Satan.
Not today, Satan. Not today.
I saw that it was like a tall person, and I like thought that they were wearing like a hat and like a jacket or something, but I couldn't see arms or a face or anything. Like, and it wasn't like out of the corner of my eye. Like, I saw it like probably here in my vision. Like, I saw that thing clear as day. Literally, I've never been so scared, and I've seen like some crazy stuff. Like, I've seen a little boy in my bathroom when I was little, like, and that didn't even scare me like this. And I've looked it up since then, and I guess what I saw is like a very, very common like shadow figure that people see, like the tall guy with the hat and the jacket, but you don't see a face or anything, and you don't really see a body. It was weird. I don't want to be talking about this all alone in the basement, but here I am. I was doing another floor set. It was like 3 a.m. I didn't want to go into the back all alone, so we were like doing buddy system the whole time, but there was a certain point where we like were really behind. We needed to get it done, and I couldn't bring anyone back with me, so I had to go into the back all alone, to the very, very back where like that TV was found. Something I forgot to mention about the TV is they couldn't get it to work after that. Like, I think months later, like, our store manager got it to work, but no one could get the video to play again. Like, so we don't even know how that happened. Anyways, I just totally got off track. Back to what I was talking about. So I'm in the back where that TV was playing, and I had to grab like some fixtures. And it was so scary because the way that it's set up, like the bathrooms are on this side, and on this wall is where I needed to grab stuff. So my back had to be towards that creepy ass corner. And so I walked in, and I saw that the bathroom door was cracked a little bit open. Like, that's not unusual. That's like how people would leave the door. But I was just not having it. Like, I have a thing about doors being open. I always close them. So I walked past it, and as I walked past it, I just like pushed it closed. Like, and I'm not talking about like just like I pushed it until my hand could not push it anymore because it had locked into its socket and it was closed. So I pushed it closed, turned my back, grabbed my stuff, and immediately turned around to like run away because like it was a little sissy and I was scared. So I had my stuff in hand, like ready to run, and I looked, and the bathroom door is open. Like, open again. Like, what? The bathroom door was back open. And I said, nope, and I ran out, like literally crying. We all knew what was going on. And so I told them what had happened, and my manager Kelly, who had experienced like everything at this point, she was like, I am just so sick of this thing. And she was like, okay, let's see if we can get it to do something like on command. What her idea was, she was gonna close it and see if it opens again, like if we turn around. And so we went into the back room, and we got to the bathroom, looked at it, and the door was closed. The door was closed. Like, okay, I don't know if you're keeping up at this point, but the door was open when I got there. I closed it. I turned around. It was open. I ran out. We ran back in. The door was closed. Are you joking? So at that point, as soon as we realized it had already been closed when I left, we all immediately screamed and ran out. We're all like, oh my god, that was so scary. And like Sandra was the other person there again, like it was the same crew. And Sandra, she was like, oh my god, that was so scary, like you guys heard that, right? Like that was so loud. And we were like, but what? Like we didn't hear anything, the door was closed, that's why we ran. And she was like, oh, I didn't even see that the door was closed, I heard a kid crying back there. And we were like, what? Because we all saw it like from afar, like she was the only one like close to the door. And we were like, you heard a kid crying? She's like, yeah, I thought that's why we were all scared and running. And I was like, nope, just you, we just saw a door, like that's scary. Now we're getting towards the end of it. My store manager this entire time hadn't really experienced what we had experienced. Like she totally 100% believed us, and like I would tell her about it, she would like tell me her ghost stories from like her past and stuff, and she was like, I've never had anything happen here. Like I'm not saying that I don't believe you guys, but it's just not happening to me. And I honestly think it's because like we were all like so entranced by it, and she's a pretty bad bitch. Like she wasn't like scared of literally anything. And then we got cameras. Actual cameras.
Thank God.
This whole time we were saying like we just need to get like a GoPro and put it back there and see if we can catch anything. And so finally, since we're like a high theft store, we finally got cameras to prevent theft. Oh boy, that was the best idea we could have had. And as soon as they were installing them, I was there with my store manager and I said, watch, we're gonna install those cameras and immediately we're gonna see some stuff. I don't want to use her name either. Lisa. So my store manager Lisa is opening up, because when managers open, they're the only ones there. And so a little while later, after we've had the cameras for a while, we had a specific feature on our cameras. And you'll see a picture of like the camera setup soon, where there's like 4 different screens. In the bottom right of every screen, there's like this image of a little running man like this. That says that there's motion. That means that there was some sort of like major movement that the cameras detected in that screen. My manager said she was opening up all alone, and for some reason in like 2 different screens, she got a running man and then a running man in the next one. And she said that it was happening like all morning. And so she sent me a picture of one of them, and it would only happen for like a few seconds, like the motion would be detected and then it would be gone. And so she sent me it, and she's like, this is so weird. So she called the camera people to come check it out, and they said that our cameras are fine. And it would happen sometimes when no one's in the screen. Like there was not, like the doors are locked, like a customer can't even be in the store type of no one in the store. And so then I'm talking with her, and she was like, you know what? I mean, I've had 2 weird things happen to me in this store. I just didn't want to scare you guys. And I was like, Lisa. And so she told me, she said that twice when she's the one that's been there the longest. She said when she first came, we have this huge fire door. That thing does not move unless like you have like someone strong to push that back, move the metal door stopper, and then let it swing. And so we always had it propped open. She walked in, and like right when she was about to walk in, that thing slammed in her face when she was the only one in the store. And she thought nothing of it. She's like, oh, it must have slipped. So she propped it back open, like put the metal door stopper under, like made sure it was secure, walked further into the back room and heard boom, and looked back, and it had slammed shut with her in there. And she said that the first time didn't scare her, but the second time scared the hell out of her, because she doesn't get scared, but she said she knows for a fact how secure it was, and like it shouldn't have closed. And so she told me that. And I'm about ready to leave at this point. Like, I'm so scared of this place. I'm done with the store anyways. Like, I'm about to quit. And then this is where our footage comes in. Me and Kelly closed that night. It was me and her. We always leave the door to the back room open when we leave. I had worked there for 1.5 years at this point, and I never had an issue with that door. We leave, and my manager gets a call from the security company in the middle of the night. And the security company says, your alarm, the motion sensor alarm, has been triggered. So at this point, she is the one who has to open the next day, and she's like, okay, someone could be in there, like we don't know if someone broke in, like both of them think that there was an intruder, like what do we do? She gets there and the doors are locked. Both the front door and the back door are both locked, and she's like, that's really weird. She walks into the store, unlocks it, walks in. She's like, how did they break in if the doors are locked? I don't know. She's just thinking about this whole time. Looks up, and the door to the back room is closed. And that's when she was freaked out. She was like, okay, no. I don't know if someone's back there. Like, I don't know what's going on. So she runs out to her car, texts our next manager who was supposed to come in when we open, and is like, I'm not going back there alone. So when the manager gets there, they both walk to the back to check it out together. And of course, no one's back there. And the back door is locked. The front door was locked when she got there. There's no way anyone was in the store, but the door was closed. So they checked the camera. Cue the footage.
What the heck? What the heck?
Okay, so here's what you just saw. Top left camera is the front of the store where the easel is. Top right camera is the entire cash wrap, and then the walkway leading to the back door that had been closed. Bottom left camera is a long view of the entire back room. Like, you can see the entire back room, the desk, the back there, everything. Bottom right camera is like that little square area where like the trash is, where the back door is. On that footage, what you just saw is the top right and bottom left cameras both, boom, went black at the exact same time. And then the camera like glitches and jumps a sec, and then you see like a minute pass, and then the door slams shut, right? And then it glitches again, and it fast forwards all the way until my manager gets there in the morning, and then it stops fast forwarding and is completely normal. The two cameras come back on and everything's good. And what's so creepy about that is, to press the fast forward button, you have to unlock the computer, click the app for the cameras, put in a specific pin to even get into the app, click the fast forward button, put in a different pin to click the fast forward button, and then you can fast forward and see footage. But you can't see the desk, which is what's so weird. And you can't see if anything's there. Oh yeah, so she had the cameras checked out because like the fact that the two cameras went black and everything is like weird. The cameras were fine. It hasn't done it since, like anything like that. And I left shortly after that. Not specifically because there's like a creepy demon ghost, but kind of. And also because like the job was just like terrible. So all of like the OG crew left except for one. There was one girl left. I hit her up recently and I said, hey, I'm gonna film a video about like how creepy haunted this store is. And I was like, has anything like happened since we left? And she said, yeah, that the other day she was sitting in the back room looking at the cameras, and she saw in the top right camera something like come in to the back room, and then the bottom right camera where the door shut, something dark like came in and was like right at the wall on the opposite side of the desk, like sitting there. And so she said that she looked and nothing was there, but like some dark figure like what I saw came in. I think that place is really haunted. Also, I've had like horrible repetitive dreams about that place since I left, about ghosts at that place. Like, it was like a repeat nightmare that I had for like the past year after I left. Like, there was like 2 core repeat nightmares that I had, both about like me being trapped in the store with like the ghosts in the back room. So I don't know what that means. My dreams are always like kind of weirdly predictive. Like, my dreams kind of tell me stuff, so I think that that just means like, don't go near that place anymore, like you're done. All right, thanks for watching, guys. Comment down below if you think that this is actually haunted, or if you think that we're just like totally gassing it and being dramatic. I wholeheartedly believe that there is something messed up with that store. I mean, I don't know if it was like me or a manager who brought a ghost, because like it mostly happened when we were there, or like I mean, no one died at the mall. Someone died like across the street from the mall, but I don't know. It was weird. You guys let me know what you think. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Go ahead and press the subscribe button. I really appreciate it. And thanks for watching. Bye.